Hello and welcome to this recorded presentation about the Pilbara Food Community Project. I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands on which we are viewing this video. I recognise their continuing connection to the land and the beautiful ocean and thank them for protecting this country for thousands of generations. I respect all elders past and present. Here we have pictured our food community team, which is led by Dr. Stephanie Godrich, including Professor Amanda Devine, Associate Professor Mel Stoneham, Isabel Kira, Jess Stowe, and Emily Humphreys. And together we make up the food community team. The Food Community Project aims to identify, map, evaluate, and strengthen government and community food security initiatives across the WA regions to support food security action. So we're conducting this work across 6 WA regions, including the Wheatbelt, Midwest, Great Southern, Kimberley, Pilbara, and Goldfields. And this recording will be focusing specifically on the Pilbara Food Community Project findings. For some geographical context, the Pilbara region spans over 507,000 square kilometres, includes 4 local government areas, and has a population of over 58,000 people. And this graph here represents the median age range of residents in the Pilbara region. Over half of the population is aged between 25 to 65 years, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Throughout 2022 to 2023, the Food Community team conducted interviews with government and community-led food security initiative leaders across the Pilbara region. We conducted interviews with 11 participants, and most of the participants had a coordinator, program coordinator, project manager, team lead, or fundraising officer position, and the remaining were CEOs, chairs, EOs, presidents, and health professionals. The participants we interviewed represented 21 initiatives across the Pilbara region. Initiatives were categorised as food literacy and health promotion projects, emergency food relief and community programs, community gardens and food swapping groups, policies or strategic plans, and businesses, networks, or alliances. The majority of initiatives across the region, so 9 initiatives, were classified as food literacy and health promotion projects, and you can see the remaining participant demographics listed on this slide here. The Food Community team also mapped the interviewed initiatives across the lifespan to showcase where the focus areas of the initiatives are and where there are some opportunities. So as you can see here, majority of the initiatives that we've interviewed are focused on school-aged children, youth and adults, and they are less focused on early years and seniors or older adults. The Food Community Project works through this systems change framework. We have 9 different focus areas that are organised into our interview guide that we use to ask questions of the people who are running food initiatives. Focus area 1 is about shaking things up. It's disrupting the status quo and the current way of working. Focus area 2 is about joining up and rippling out to bolster a potential new way of working. Focus area 3 is about creating identity and combining resources, which helps to move the system of initiatives towards a new way of working. Focus area 4 is about embedding, watching, and responding to that new way of working. And focus area 5 is about building collective knowledge. So it's about helping people keep informed about the big picture of food security. These first 5 focus areas are about helping communities to shift towards a more effective way of supporting food security. Then focus areas 6, 7, 8 and 9 relate to two-way communication between government and community. Focus areas 6 and 7 are about government exploring food security solutions and innovations that already exist within the community. And focus areas 8 and 9 are about governments taking those learnings about community food security solutions back up into government systems to embed them in there. And then each of these focus areas are made up of a number of characteristics, of which there are 36 in total. Now we're going to have a look at some analysis of the characteristics that were most commonly possessed by initiatives across each focus area and some example activities that these Pilbara initiatives currently undertake. So our food community team analysed the participants' comments from the interviews thematically to see what the most common themes across each focus area and their characteristics are. So at Focus Area 1, initiatives across the Pilbara region were most likely to possess characteristic 1.5, which is about identifying clear geographical or issue-based boundaries. For example, due to climate, some community garden initiatives only operated during certain seasons. At Focus Area 2, initiatives were most likely to possess characteristic 2.1, which is about encouraging safe to fail experimentation. There was one initiative leader that described incorporating the mindset that you learn more from failure than you do success. At Focus Area 3, initiatives were more likely to possess characteristic 3.1, which is about creating a shared awareness and understanding of food security through words and images. For example, initiatives would use simple, consistent, and effective branding that was recognisable for community members. At Focus Area 4, initiatives were most likely to possess characteristic 4.1, which is about fitting within local constraints, context, or needs. For example, there was a local government-led initiative that was undertaking community consultation across various towns to inform the development of their public health plan. Then at Focus Area 5, initiatives were most likely to possess characteristic 5.2, which is about using technology to understand and share information with others addressing food security. So this included initiatives that would collect formal data and informal feedback from the community to see what's working well and how the initiative can be improved. Looking at Focus Area 6 now, initiatives were most likely to possess characteristic 6.2, which is about supporting governments to provide accessible information about food security. For example, establishing partnerships with government organisations to support emergency food relief activities. At Focus Area 7, initiatives were most likely to possess characteristic 7.2, which is about assisting elected representatives to consider community views and ideas about food security. For example, some initiatives established a communication channel with elected members that could bring food security issues to the local council. At Focus Area 8, initiatives are most likely to possess characteristic 8.2, which is about linking community-led activities and government strategic plans. For example, there was an initiative that had key performance indicators that aligned with some local government action areas around sustainability. Finally, at Focus Area 9, initiatives are most likely to possess characteristic 9.2, which is about providing elected representatives with community information about food security that is relevant to their electorate area or portfolio. For example, an initiative supporting elected members to better understand some of the social and economic factors that contribute to food security issues in their community. After we interviewed people, we uploaded the data into the online tool for systemic change, and we used this tool to evaluate the initiative's work against these 36 systems change characteristics embedded across those 9 focus areas we discussed earlier. The tool provides a variety of maps, including these region-based transition cards, and this is the Pilbara one. So this transition card, or our systems change map, visualises how the Pilbara food security system is contributing to 36 systems change characteristics across 9 focus areas. So it shows the initiatives that we interviewed down the left side here, and then these columns make up those 9 different focus areas. The coloured tiles indicate whether the initiative possesses that focus area's characteristic, and each characteristic aligns with a question asked during the interview. So if the tile is coloured, then the initiative possesses the characteristic, and if it's blank, they either responded no to our question or couldn't provide evidence as to how they possess the characteristic. So there's no right or wrong answer, and it's not necessarily a bad thing if they don't possess them. It just offers these windows of opportunities to strengthen different parts or aspects of that initiative through small tweaks or changes. The tool for systemic change also produces a partnership map, which is also known as a solution ecosystem, which shows all of the different partnerships and collaborations between the 56 organisations we identified based on those interviews to be working on food security within the Pilbara region in 2023. So you can also view a larger version of each region's partnership map on our website. And now we're going to have a bit of a deeper look into the Pilbara partnership analysis. So looking at the network model type, social network analysis can be used to understand network typology and their structures as a whole. So the Pilbara partnership map I just showed you demonstrates a scattered fragments model, which indicates a siloed network in the early stages of development. Then 26 organisations were classified as hubs in the Pilbara network, meaning that these organisations connected with more than the average number of partners and were essential to spreading information throughout different parts of the network. Then two state government organisations and one not-for-profit organisation, which was not physically located in the region, were identified as critical for sharing information. Then 30 organisations were classified as connected components, meaning they use their partnerships to receive and share information throughout the network. Through our analysis, we also identified common themes about the ways in which organisations are working in partnership in the Pilbara region. Key themes included collaboration, coordinated action and capacity building, community consultation and involvement, food and financial donations, funding and grants for program delivery, on-ground program and service delivery, and physical and human resources. For example, under collaboration, coordinated action, and capacity building, partnerships focused on local community issues. For example, there was a local government that was collaborating with stakeholders from various sectors to help inform and implement their public health plan. Then, under community consultation and involvement, community members were often described as integral in the design and/or delivery of services. For example, an initiative leader described their partnership with the local community for their community-driven, traditional owner-led initiatives. Then, under food and financial donations, some food relief initiatives received food donations from larger not-for-profits, food rescue organisations, and supermarkets. Moving on to funding and grants for program and service delivery, initiatives often received funding and grants for program delivery. For example, a community garden initiative leader described their paid position with key performance indicators and goals outlined as a part of their funding agreement. Moving on to on-ground program and service delivery, initiatives joined to support on-ground program service delivery. For example, initiatives supported one another in the region by staff volunteering their time to facilitate other programs working in the space. Finally, with physical and human resources, initiatives regularly shared physical and human resources. For example, a nutrition education program initiative leader partnered with a local women's centre to use their facilities to run their program. During the project, we also asked participants what ideas they had for new initiatives or actions required to support food security in their region. In the Pilbara, common ideas included government legislation that ensures supermarkets offer affordable food prices, verge gardens and edible fruit trees, shortening the food supply chain by getting produce directly from the Kimberley and Midwest regions, more nutrition education and upskilling food safety and cooking skills, and finally, local food processing, such as local meat processing facilities like abattoirs, increasing local food production, increasing culturally appropriate food options, and commercially grown bush foods by Indigenous people. Based on our Pilbara findings, the Food Community Team has developed recommendations to support the current food security system to shift towards a more effective way of working. This includes that food security initiative leaders could strengthen their food security impact by enhancing Focus Area 6 attributes. This might be through supporting government and community staff coming together to work on food security, encouraging the government to provide information about food security to their region's residents, and supporting government to include community ideas about food security in their plans. Initiative leaders could also strengthen their impact by enhancing Focus Area 9 attributes, such as by advocating to local, state, or federal government about addressing food security, and ensuring that their initiative is listed on the Food Community website's Connect section. Other recommendations include that food security initiatives should consider the bigger picture of food security when sharing information with their networks and undertaking food security activities, as well as better support for collaborations between government and community organisations. We also developed specific recommendations to strengthen the Pilbara region's partnership networks, which include that organisations should identify and document clear partnership purposes, roles and actions. And finally, the Pilbara region network should be supported to shift across the network stages, for example, by connecting organisations, increasing collaboration on small food security projects, bringing in new organisations and implementing ways to share information. This brings us to the end of the Pilbara Food Community Snapshot presentation. We'd like to acknowledge and thank our project partners and funders, which are listed here. Thank you for listening to this presentation. If you have any questions, please email us at foodcommunity@ecu.edu.au, and you can follow us on Facebook to keep up to date with the project, and head over to our website and sign up for free to access a variety of resources.